Right, step 2 in on our YouTube channel, and there's a guy who wanted to know where my channel went, and I said, what videos would you like to see? And he said, oh, penguin and how to use your hips. This is both, okay? This is a more elegant way of learning how to use your hips, and it's more elegant than most for using for doing penguin. Okay, so what we're doing is we want our hips to be able to articulate, okay, when we move. And it's kind of complicated what your hips do and don't do. But your hips should move when we, between my hands is 36 muscles, okay? And those 36 muscles need to, and most of them are horizontal, so those 36 muscles need to move gently when we walk or run, okay? If they're clamped and locked and tight, you'll end up moving like a block. Or if your hips is static, you'll hear like some coaches will cue like you want still hips. What will happen is your upper body will have to work on top of your lower body, okay? And your lower back will seesaw, or the rotation, it's got to happen somewhere. It'll happen in your knee, or what happens is sometimes it'll happen in your foot and you'll suddenly overpronate in your foot. The rotation has to come from your hips. So let me just go back a little bit. So we're kind of looking at, there's my hip movements, and then notice my zip is dead quiet and my lower back is dead quiet because this rotation is coming from my hips, okay? What we don't want to see in running is still hips, and then your upper body working against your lower body. That's going to hurt, okay? You go this way, your shoulders track on top of your hips. So if you see someone running and their hips are rotating a lot and this line looks still, then their movement is coming from their hips. The hips will look dead quiet. Okay, so we're going to practice how do we, and that's proper hip function. What I'm doing now, we need to be able to, kneeling, you need to be able to drive the earth down with this hip. If you put your hands on your femur, so here's your greater trochanter, is the bump on the side of your hip. If you put your hands on there and sort of hold it, I like to pincer it, okay? Then when you walk, it should go down towards the ground, extend and internally rotate. Okay, so you can practice this soft sort of walking on your knees. Just be careful, so some people's knees aren't up to it. So if I show you from the front, I'm doing this, and you'll see my hips look quiet, but they're not. Yeah, and look how much my shoulders move. So this gentle walking is probably one way to gently cue what your hips should be doing. Okay, I'm going to show you the soft movement that you can do, but this is all. Try and take that movement and then translate it and understand why you're doing this hip movement. Okay, and the very important thing is when I step, my belly button is pointing towards the leg in front. Okay, so you can see my white line, the zip moved this way, then it moves towards the front leg. Okay, 95% of people will do this. The zip will point away from the lead leg because you don't know how to articulate your hips properly. Or someone that has tight hips or is caught behind the hips, they'll do this. And then in running, you're trying to fix it with your upper body. And now look at my zip line, right? So we want to be this way, straight zip. Belly button, if this was a laser pointer, points towards your lead leg. So that's proper hip control when we run. Okay, so if we lie on our back, we put one leg down, one leg straight. This foot reasonably close to your butt. This knee and foot, this is all aligned straight up towards the roof. Knees underneath the hip, foot's underneath the knee. Okay. We want a sensation, the cues are you can press your foot into the table. If I think of a femur bone, that bone goes that way, okay? Along the line of my femur. This femur bone is going to go that way. And this hip is going to gently float forward. Okay? I can think about my opposite hip falling back into the table, but now that's quite a lot to think about. Okay, so spine is relaxed. We've basically, your morning routine, you should have done rounding and arching with breathing, which is, if you don't know what that is, do that video first and come back to this one. Okay, then foot, knee, I put my hand on my thigh, knee goes away, hip floats forward, and then come back down. And this is also soft and slow. Probably like, you can do the count of 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. You can breathe in through your nose. My back is arching a little bit to get my knee to go away. And breathing out and down. Breathing in, You can see the hand, I'm kind of pushing with my hand, that's okay. And my knee is facing up towards the ceiling, okay? It doesn't dive in. So from this side, okay, knee goes away, points towards the ceiling, my pelvis rotates, this hip's falling back, and this hip's floating forward, and there my knee is keeping still. You see? Okay. So, knee, this hip floats forward, my knee goes away, and my whole torso should actually gently be rotating towards your hip. Bless me. Okay, and then you want to do that on the other side. You can put your hand on your thigh, knee goes away. You can see my whole midline is rotating. I'm log rolling towards this side. This leg has no tension. I'm going to shake it out. So what athletes will do is this. Because you're so used to bridging. So you'll use all your muscles and you'll like, see, I'm pushing back with this leg too. Yeah, this leg's got to be soft. Take it out of the equation. You can widen it and flop it. Okay. This knee goes away softly and slowly and I move forward. You want a sense of how did I do that? I don't know. Which muscles were involved? None. Smooth, soft, no jerking, no clenching, no butt squeezing. Okay? You have to let go your pelvis in order to get that synchronous movement, not be clamped and then move like a block. Okay, so knee goes away, hip flows forward. Okay, and you practice that 2 rounds. You can start with about 8 movements on the one side, about 8, and then 6, 6. You can put some rounding and arching in between. Okay, breathing in and through your nose and arching, breathing out and rounding, and then you can go back to hips. And after a while, you should be able to do it with both knees bent. You can rock from one side to the other side. Okay, knee goes away, hip floats forward, there's no tension, and you want this should be soft and gentle. Don't make it a big movement. This is my sacrum. Always when you're doing this movement, your sacrum should be on the ground, contacting the ground all the time. So don't rotate your hips so much that your sacrum completely lifts off the ground. Keep your sacrum on the ground. It mobilizes your sacrum and your sacral fascia. Okay, this falls under a category of micro movements or somatovisceral movements, soft spine movements. Okay, so we're just rounding and arching our spine and gently mobilizing our sacrum. Don't turn it into a big movement. Keep it small, keep it soft, keep it relaxed. Let the muscles fall away and you'll start to wake up your spine. And a woken up spine is a good spine, happy spine. And you'll be happy and you'll be creative and think creatively and be able to solve movement problems creatively when you move. Okay, so that's step 2. Those you should do as a daily routine every single day. Round and arch, rock your hips, and then I'll show you like a big movement where we start to create movement. And do that every single day like you brush your teeth, and you'll start to have context and awareness into when you start doing more complex movements. You'll, like if you can nail these basics, then everything becomes easy. Okay, take care everyone, thank you. And I don't know, again, like, subscribe, share, show a friend that needs help. Okay, take care everyone.